Now we're going to cache out our particles. So first we're in our overall object level here. I'm going to color my particle result node this bright yellow because that's what I do with objects that I know I'm going to render. And then I'm going to go inside that and we have the .io node. So like we've done before, I'm going to lay down a file cache node. I'm going to call that dyne particles 01. Connect that up. I'm actually going to color that bright yellow as well. And now we're going to pull up its parameters and we're going to change the file path in the same way. This is what I always do. So it's go slash $OS slash $OS $F4 for a 4 padded frame sequence. And then we'll turn on initialize simulation op. So any temporary cache stuff gets blown out and we do a nice clean new sim. And then we're also going to do the same thing where we're going to delete out some attributes. But in some of the previous lessons, we were deleting out the attributes after this file cache. But this time I actually just know exactly what we need. And just to show you a different way of doing this, I'm going to create an attribute delete. And then the point attributes, I'm going to delete everything except I want to caret and keep ID. I want to keep CD. I want to keep alpha. And I want to keep velocity. And then everything else I'm going to delete out. If you do know specifically what you need and you don't need, this is obviously the best way to do it because then you aren't writing out any data that you don't need. Super clean. With something like this, we aren't even really dealing with that many particles. It's not going to make or break. But let's say you had millions of particles. You want to be really careful about what attributes you write because that can actually start to pack the file size to be quite a bit bigger. So now click on our file cache node and I'll save it to disk. All right, now the cache is finished. Took about 3.5 minutes on this side to actually cache that out. Pretty nice and quick. So now I'm going to go to my render cam in my viewport. I'm going to scrub here on my timeline. Oop, made an important mistake. We've got to make sure that once we cache it out to turn on the load from disk checkmark here, or it will actually just kind of be a pass through and it won't actually read those files. Now I can scrub and we can see we've got our particle sim here. Cool. So now what I'm going to do is let's go up a level. I'm going to turn on our objects level and turn on our ground, go into the ground, make sure we are looking at the right output, and just do a quick little playback here just so I can actually just see our particles emitting from our object. So this is cool. We see we've got our ground impacts and we've got our particles coming out when our object explodes. We're going to add some color and make this, look a little bit sexier, but it's great just to be able to start to see all this actually working together and the result of the two different particle sources working to generate some really nice particle results. A little bit of setup to get everything right, but then once we do, the caching is quite quick and due to the fact that we really tuned this to be exactly what we wanted it to be. All right, so next up what we're going to do is we are going to start working in the particle result object here to start coloring and styling our particles to get them the way we want to look in our render.